Hey everyone, today I have 25 easy flower doodles to share with you. These are great for beginners. Some of them are more cartoony and some of them are more realistic. I'm going to be using a Pigma Micron 08. For the first flower, draw a ton of tiny circles in the shape of a larger circle for our center. Our petals are long and rectangular with a dip in the middle of the end of the petal. I like drawing the petals in quadrants so I get better spacing. We're going to draw petals behind the ones in the foreground and a detail line in the center of each petal. This flower starts with a teardrop shaped center swirl. You want to work to round it out into a circle. Then you're going to create rings of the little humped petals and build them up row by row. The number one key here is to make sure your petals are staggered, meaning they start and end in the center of the two petals below it. The next one is a combo of the first two flowers. Start with a colored end center and draw 2 rows of the small humped petals, followed by 2 layers of the rectangular petals from the first flower, but we're going to do them a little bit shorter so that they're more square, making sure to stagger the petals again. You can add some leaves if you want as well. These are basic teardrop shaped leaves with a wider vein through the center. The next flower is also a spin-off of the first few. We're going to start with a darkened center again and then stagger the shorter, more square petals with the little dip in the end. Aw, I love this next one so much. These always remind me of carnations. I call them my Flula Flowers. We're going to start with little cloud-shaped petals in the center and then surround it with petals that have little humped edges, again staggering them. The next doodle is a stem. We're starting with the flower centers, which are lines jutting every which way with a little polka dot at the end. We're going to draw 3 to 4 petals surrounding the centers. Make sure to make the line work with your petals more jagged. It'll give it a more organic look. Then we can draw a stem coming down from each flower and some leaves for interest. This is a droopy little daisy. We're going to draw the little circles for the center, but shaping them in a half circle, then drawing our long rectangular petals moving downward. The petals on the outside should be thinner because they're moving away from the viewer and they're getting seen from the side. The next flower is based off of a ranunculus, which is a rounded flower with layers and layers of gorgeous petals. So I draw some little bean shapes in the center and then build large, smooth petals around the center, connecting each petal back down to the flower. The petals will get larger and move further around the circle as the flower gets bigger. All right, this one is supposed to be similar to a peony, so we're going to work with very jagged and perfect edges on our petals. These have a small center, almost like a bud, that the petals wrap around, getting larger and larger. And you can notice really well on these more realistic flowers that the petals are staggered off kilter. I also added a leaf with veins pulling out from the center of the base of the leaf. Ooh, it's poppy time. Poppies are fun and spontaneous and delicate, and they do what they want. I draw 3 to 4 leaves for poppies. They're squared petals with jagged tops, and they have squiggled erratic veins. You can also see the stamen from the center pointing up, which is just a line with a circle on the end. Then we're drawing a stem with another sprig that has a poppy bud. Have fun with poppies. They are wild and curvy and bend and droop and dance to the beat of their own drum. Next, we have a lavender style flower, which uses the same technique we've been using with some of our centers, where tiny circles make up a larger shape. In this case, it's a very cylindrical teardrop shape. These can stand alone as a single stem flower, or you can attach another on the same stem. The next flower is insanely simple. We're drawing a grouping of lines out from the center point and adding dots to the ends of the lines. The lines on the bottom of the grouping are closest to the viewer and coming forward, so they should be shorter. For this one, I also drew a smaller one off to the side and attached the two with a stem. This flower is inspired by Monte Cassino, which is a stem with a collection of what looks like baby daisies. So we're drawing small basic daisy style flowers from a couple of different angles, attaching them onto a stem and adding a ton of little filler leaves. These also kind of look like chamomile. For the next flower, we're shaping the Flula Flower cloud-shaped petals into a sphere shape and drawing dots for centers. Make sure that the petals on the edge are flatter because we can't see all of them because they're moving away from us. I also added some droopy leaves, a stem, and some buds. I call this next one the rosette. It is very simple. It's great for if you just want to doodle something really quickly and then color it in. You do a simple lined and dotted center and wrap misshapen circles around it. For this one, we're starting with lines jutting out from a center point and drawing small ovals at the ends of the stamen. The petals for this one are rounded, and we want our lines to be slightly jagged. The first ring of petals has 4 petals, and we're going to layer out from there, starting between the petals on that layer. When our flower is the size we want, we're drawing 4 leaves poking out from each side. This one is very easy. Our center is an open circle, and 4 long teardrop-shaped petals jut out. Then we're just going to continue filling the petals in and draw smaller detail lines on the sides of each petal. I love this flower because the petals have a ton of movement. Your petals are going to be wavy but not overly jagged. And we're going to choose a few of our petals and draw equally wavy and sometimes a bit more jagged lines across the tops of the petals. This gives the appearance that the petals are curling upwards towards us. It's a very simple way to make flowers look more realistic. We're also going to add a leaf with some tiny points on the sides. All right, for number 19, we're starting with our tiny circle center again and replicating those long rectangular petals with the wavy end, but this time they're very, very skinny and packed around the flower. This flower is also as easy as it looks. 3 lines starting from the same center point with dots on the end. There's a large wavy petal in the back and 2 thinner petals on each side. This one reminds me of a poinsettia. The center is all the small circles made into a larger circle with layered teardrop petals to fill it out. For the next one, we're going to draw a ton of tiny little cloud-shaped petals grouped together with individual stems going down to the center point where they will meet the stem. Start this flower with a large leaf-shaped petal in the center with 2 slimmer petals off to each side. Fill in the space between with a couple more of those larger petals and finish everything off with a stamen in the center. Number 24 is based off the Fuji Mom. We're going to start with the quadrant method because it just makes it so easy on us and gives us so much control. Our petals are long, thin, and rounded and packed together. And we are just going to build them and build them and build them, filling them out from behind until we like the look. Our last flower has a darkened center with a ton of floppy lines jutting off. Each line ends with a dot. There are 4 petals with this flower. They're oblong with organic lines. They are not super smooth. You can finish off with veins on each petal if you want. I created a digital worksheet to go along with this video for anyone who really wants to master their flower doodles. It is available in my Etsy shop, so you will be able to purchase, download, and print it right away. And then you can trace the flower doodles until your mind has mastered them. I'll link those in the description box below for anyone who's interested. I will see you guys next week with another video. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss it. Thanks again for watching today, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.